Welcome to PG Excursions Travel with a Purpose, So You Want to Go to Africa podcast. I'm your host, Tanya D. Woods, attorney at law, and
I'm Lauren Lowry, certified international property specialist.
And welcome to a podcast for those in the African diaspora who want to visit their ancestral home, hosted by two sisters who know how to transform a simple trip abroad into a cultural bonanza.
Full of tips from our own travels to Africa, plus tips from expert guests to everyday travelers to ballers on a budget.
Let's get started.
Let's go.
Well, hello. My name is Tanya D. Woods of PG Excursions, and I'm joined here with my colleague, Lauren Lowry. Hey, Lauren.
What up, Tanya?
We are so delighted to be here bringing this wonderful new programming to you from PG Excursions, Travel with a Purpose. And we call it So You Want to Go to Africa. And so many of us think about traveling all around the world, but when we get stuck on Africa, we're thinking to ourselves, what next? Who do I call? Who's been there? What do I need to think about? So we thought in this podcast, we'd bring to you tales from our own travels, myself and Lauren Lowry, and people that we've had an opportunity to either travel with or meet along the way on the beautiful motherland continent, the dark continent, Mother Africa. Today, we are joined by Kwab Asamoah, who is joining us from Ghana, and he is going to talk to us a little bit about what his experiences have been like as an individual who is not only living in Ghana, but also is an entrepreneur, a very successful entrepreneur at that. So why don't we get things started, and I'll shoot things over to you, Lauren. Lauren?
Kwab, thank you so much for joining us from Accra. And we were so pleased to meet you with our buddy Ray Massenberg. And we learned a little bit about you there, but tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Give us those details.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with the PG Excursions. I am Kwab Asamoah, the current president and CEO of Custom Looks Clothier. In terms of my background, well, I was born in Ghana. I left at the age of 7. I lived in the U.S., specifically the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. I was there for 35 years. Went to Morgan State University, where I got my degrees in electrical engineering and physics.
Oh, wow. So you're smart. So he's basically telling us he's smarter than everybody right now.
Absolutely. And engineering,
I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. Don't let the smooth character fool you. I'm a nerd.
Love it. Love it.
After college, I attempted to climb the corporate ladder. Yeah, I did computer consulting. I was an IT consultant in the Washington, D.C. area, specifically in at the time what was called stress testing, which is now part of the whole cybersecurity sector.
Right.
And so from there, in 2005, I had the fortunate opportunity to start my own fashion line in Bowie. It was just a little side hustle that I was looking to make some money. So if I met a beautiful AKA at the club, I can offer to buy her a drink. That was my goal. And lo and behold, 18 years later, we are here in Ghana with a factory and hopefully one of the top brands in West Africa. And we're looking to take, Ghana fashion made in Ghana on an international level.
That is awesome. So I'm going to go back just a little bit. So in 2000, when did you start your business and when did you move to Ghana?
Okay. So I started a business in 2005. Like I said, in Bowie. So from 2005 to 12, I had my business in the U.S. I was in Bowie, then I opened up in downtown Silver Spring. But I started coming back to Ghana in 2005 also. And, I honestly did not come back with the intentions of relocating. I came back really as a one-time trip, sort of like a birthright trip. That was my plan.
Yes.
And, we came for 17 days. It was me and my siblings. And by the time the 17 days ended, we felt like this is where the future was and this is where we wanted to be.
Wow.
And so I started making plans, and we started trying to make plans to relocate here. In 2006, we opened a restaurant. We basically had a McDowell's version of fast food, right?
I love this.
We opened a Five Guys here
Oh,
in
wow.
Ghana. We called it Just Burgers and Fries. We were here operational from 2006 to 2011.
Okay.
And what came about in that transaction was we weren't here. We were trying to manage a restaurant, a culture, a community, and a business remotely. And those things don't really work well. So what that particular business taught me was that if I wanted to do business and I wanted to succeed here, then I had to be here also.
Absolutely. And I'm just curious to know, Kwab, how many siblings took this amazing journey with you?
Well, there were four of us, including myself. I have an older brother, older sister, and a younger sister. And for us, we were coming home because my mom kind of felt, she was calling us sellouts. She said we went to America and, we were sellouts to the system. And, and truthfully, she was 110% right. We came to Ghana with a mindset like, you know what? We're going to see these folks and we out. See ya, never come back. One-time trip, but what we realized in that 17 days was that the American dream could exist outside of America.
Right.
That's
and
amazing.
Not only could the American dream exist here, I could actually achieve the American dream, and I could achieve it for half the price, half the time. So Ghana became extremely attractive because as a developing country, there were so many opportunities, so many resources and things that we saw that wasn't in the system here. And we kind of felt like, what's missing was all those missing elements were opportunities. So the hardest decision was really trying to determine which one we were going to hone our attention on. And we thought the restaurant was, the first place that we should start.
So Kwab, I really am fascinated by your take on achieving the American dream and realizing it could exist anywhere. Unpack for us what your version of the American dream was. And I'm going to use American in air quotes, because essentially what you're hitting on that is universal. And what was your definition of that dream, if you will? And what was it that existed in Ghana that made it easier to attain in Ghana than in the United States?
Well, I think, for most people, the American dream is some level of financial independence, right? Structurally, we all want the big house with a white picket fence, the nice compound and the nice car, Rolls Royce, or the Mercedes sitting in a garage. In the driveway. But at the end of the day, all those things, we all want at the most financial independence, the ability to have control of our time and our money, right? Which was, dictated as lifestyle. And I believe that formula, so I followed the formula. When I came to America as a foreigner, I was taught, go to school, get a good education, come out and get a good job. So I did that. And then I found out that was leaning against the wrong wall. So then I was told, go start your own business. And then so I did that, and I did several businesses before Custom Looks. But ultimately, when I came to Ghana, what I saw, that was probably the biggest difference, was I saw ownership. In America, even though I was extremely successful, I had 6-figure income, I had the house, four cars, I believe. But those were 4 car notes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Here I saw wealth on a different level. I saw people who actually owned their house. They had their deed, they had their title, they had their indenture, and more importantly, they had no note, no mortgage. I saw people with vehicles. The same vehicles I'm seeing in Washington, D.C., Land Rovers, Mercedes, BMWs, but they had no car notes.
Right.
So I started seeing cash on a different level. I saw people who actually could pull out $10,000, not $10,000 in their bank or $10,000 in equity. There were people who had 10,000 in their cash. Like, okay, let's go do something. So, those kind of that level of financial control
Right.
was very foreign to me because I wasn't seeing that in the U.S. What I did see in the U.S. was people who had tremendous amount of credit and the ability to use it, the ability to manipulate it, to their advantage. But I didn't see ownership. I didn't know one person in my 35 years of America that had their deed to their house.
Wow.
Everybody who I knew had a note. The bank was holding their deed, 30-year note, then refinance, because you want to get your equity out. So now that just extends your years more. That's what I saw. I did see people with money, but like I said, they had to maybe refi or do things like that, get a HELOCs to get those, get that equity out. But I really didn't see cash lifestyle. I saw credit lifestyle.
Right.
And even though I was a high net income earner by most people's standards in America, I too was living on credit. If I made $10,000, I probably spent 9,000 of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the 1,000 I was left was taxes, and everything else. So, that whole concept of living paycheck to paycheck at a high level still, but paycheck to paycheck was very foreign here. And, so I started seeing people relaxed in a different manner. I saw a different pace. I saw a different level of comfort with ownership. I may not own a Mercedes, but I own a nice Toyota and I have no car note. And I saw a different level of stress from that person, a different level of enjoyment of life. There was enjoying that person with the Toyota and no car note was enjoying life a lot better than the person with the Mercedes and a note.
Right. So that's an excellent point, right, Kwab? Because what essentially you've unpacked for us is that dream that is probably universal, is that people want stability. And we often define that stability as adults in terms of financial stability and financial security and all the things that can do for you. But if you're not stressed out about how to obtain that financial security on the daily, by being able to have a sense of ownership, being more in control of that financial stability, then that does something that I think we often don't spend enough time talking about. And that is the reduction of not only stress, but being able to maintain healthy mental health, right? That equilibrium and well-being.
Right. Well,
I'll tell a person, if you come out here, you're probably going to put, if you're living in Ghana, you're probably going to put about 10 years extra on your life. Just by the adjustment of the lifestyle, the release of certain mental stresses, the ability to have help in so many ways, from domestic help to professional corporate help. It's just a different frequency, right? And that frequency has a different harmony, and I believe it adds definitely years to your life. I think if you took a person here I'm 51 years old, and I'm pretty sure if I was in the U.S. and I was 51, I wouldn't look this handsome, and I definitely wouldn't look this relaxed.
You would absolutely be just as handsome, Kwab. How men as you age.
There'd be more bags underneath my eyes and all that stuff. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, what you've basically, destroyed for our audience here is that, the American dream is basically a westernized dream. It's basically about capitalism, which is about stress, which is about continuing to get more and more and more and not be satisfied. So I think, so that's basically what you've suggested, is a myth, that capitalism there's a myth here that, this is going to be the best thing that happens. That white picket fence is the best thing that happens to you. And you found some, I think some non-stressful, opportunities in Ghana. Talk to us though, because you've been westernized. You've been here since you've been in the U.S. since 7 years old. So
Yeah.
certainly there's got to be some transition. Like, what are the pros and cons of living in Accra, Ghana at this time?
Well, I'll definitely say one of the things you would have to adjust to is, like, as we mentioned, coming from a credit society to a cash community. That takes an adjustment. It took me about 2 years, to get adjusted to that, because in America, I could always overextend and know that, hey, I'm getting the bill the next end of the month. And then even then, I just pay a portion of it. So the mindset on how I budgeted my money was different. So that took some time. Negatives, Ghana, of course, we're a developing country. So certain amenities that you may be used to in the US is not, here. You take, for instance, you have the luxury of having an ADT system, right? You pay your $150 a month, and when your alarm goes off, you can pick up a phone, call this number, and someone even calls you, and you give them your code, that kind of, service, right? Here in Ghana, for that $150 a month, you have a physical person at your gate. I'm saying you have a physical security person who, is going to open your door, open your gate when you enter. He's going to be there when your guests come to check who they are before they allow them into your house. So, that's a difference. If you're a person who's into that automation type system, you may say this is, pretty manual. So one of the main things I would say is technology isn't as, we're not as dependent on technology as we are on manual labor here, right? Our people, and part of it is in that manual laborism is the ability to employ people, right? So, that's part of helping the community, even though some things are done, like I said, man, you can have a washing machine and wash yourself, or you can have a housekeeper who will wash by hand and gets paid every week and feeds an extended family. So those are some of the things you have to adjust to, especially in your thinking. Some things that you may see in America as maybe taking advantage of people, here you realize is actually providing an opportunity, right? So those kind of things are, some of the pros and cons. I would advise most people, to come over here and see for yourself. I think, as African Americans, America has programmed us to believe that if we were to come to Africa, we will become slaves. So there's this sense of, I don't want to cross the Atlantic, but the moment you get to a certain part of the Atlantic, it's like, oh, I'm in another world. No, it's not that way at all. But I know there's a mindset that has been brought into us to fear us, to keep us, fearful of what's here. But it's a lot of goodness here.
What we call it here is like Africa in your imagination. So, media and everything else has taught us, this is happening in Africa, everything negative, almost everything negative, again, when we say the dark continent, we talk about that. These are all sort of these things that have been fed to us over the years that we continue to regurgitate, not realizing that this is European thought, not African thought. So I just quickly pivot again. Sorry for taking this one, Tanya. You talked about sort of living there. We also know there's bureaucracies as it pertains to starting a business in DC. How is it starting a business in Accra? What are the differences, pros and cons?
Well, business-wise, one of the biggest, issues is going to be determining what business you're going to do. Because when you come from the U.S., you're sort of like in a time capsule where you are maybe 10 to 20 years ahead of the Ghanaian, what you've seen, what you've experienced, right? So because of that, you're going to see deficiencies in a lot of sectors. So one of the hardest things is determining which sector you need to be in and how you're going to use that for business. One of the things I tell most people is if you come here long enough, your ancestors have a way of identifying the business that you need to do. The spirits will find a way to direct you into it. You may come here as a lawyer and find yourself becoming a multimillionaire as a farmer. because that's where your skill set and the labor that you present is best needed. Doing business in Ghana is fairly simple and fairly easy. One, the government itself is trying to engage the diasporans. So there are programs like this GIPC, which is the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, which is tasked with working with businesses and entities who are trying to relocate here or trying to come here and do business, so that they can help you take advantage of tax incentives, importing fees and things like that could be reduced and mitigated. Banking is pretty straightforward. Right now the Ghana government allows you to be able to come in and be able to get a Ghana card. And once you have a Ghana card, you're able to move freely in terms of establishing banks and be able to open your business. All those things are there. There's a difference between opening and operating, registering a business as a Ghanaian citizen versus as a non-citizen. But your Ghana card, dictates that for you. So you have that. So one of the things that I think is very good is that the government is very aware of the diasporan community and the power of the diasporan community. So they are doing a lot of incentives to try to get the diasporans to come here, try to make it an easier transition. There's even a program.
That's so exciting. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kwab.
There's even a program called the Asamoah Pan-African Village, where the government of Ghana is giving land to diasporans, pretty much free. You pay $1,200 for the registration of your indenture and your plot, but you can build your house as you wish. It is a huge community. There's shopping centers coming as a planned community, mixed-use community, shopping centers, sporting games, and all those type activities will be part of it. Right, people are living in it right now. Right now, I think there's about maybe 500 homeowners already who have bought. Ghana has allocated 5,000 acres for this project. So it is a generational project that we hope diasporans will take advantage of and be able to come here, get yourself a land, build yourself a house, stay in America and work if you want. But when it's time to retire, wouldn't it be great to have a house that's already built on a nice coastal land where you can enjoy yourself at a comfortable pace?
Well, that definitely
those things are there.
For sure. And there are so many folks, as you mentioned before, who are in the diaspora, but especially those in the United States and in North America who do have an interest in it. And we hear so many mixed messages about, what individuals can take advantage of programs like that. Do they have to be grandfathered in? Do they have to demonstrate ancestry? So we might have to have you back at another time.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Love to be able to provide more information on
what that looks like. That sounds fantastic. So as we've been talking about, what is some of the mythology around traveling to Africa, I'd love to hear from you. When people come to Accra and they visit and they're, talking to you about the things that they thought they knew about the motherland and what they're surprised to learn, what are some of the things that have I can't believe that's what they thought about, when they come and they share with you? What are you shaking your head at?
I don't know if I can say I can't believe what they thought, because I was they also.
Right.
So tell us about that.
So, I think, the myth is the fact that people here, I think one of the biggest things is the fact that people may not have the same financial level in America. Right. So, people will say, well, how can you take a person who has gone to college and let's say got a degree in accounting here in Ghana, and they're working for the bank as a bank teller. Their salary is probably less than 2,000 cedis a month, which is basically the equivalency of about $175 a month. So, people are going to wonder, well, how can people live on that? Right. And in America, you're making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, right? And you still are going month to month. So you're wondering, how can a person survive on $175 a month? And those are the things that you sort of have to come here and see for yourself. And then on top of it, how can a person make $175 a month? Be so positive and be so happy, and you realize it's because we know how to live on the land. We know how to work as a community. We learn how to work as a culture. So even though I have 175, my brother here has 175, My sister here has 175. My uncle here has 175. I'm saying grandma's got 175. When you put us all together, we can have your 5,000 that you got by yourself, right? So that's a different mindset. It's a different approach. And it's something that, you know, when people come, you're like, I can't believe that a person can make this little income. Yes, they can. But you understand that we're a community, not a community of one. See, in America, your income is of one. It's one household that you are responsible for. It is one income, one salary, you. Here, we're a community. So even though I may have one piece of the puzzle, my friend, my brother may have the other part. So the two of us coming together is going to make it more of the whole. Whereas in America, I'm tasked with being the whole by myself.
So that's really an interesting sort of take on environment in Accra and in Ghana in general. You know, part of our goal is to make sure that our audience has the resources. And so maybe in our show notes, we will have the different programs that you were talking about, the CI, what was it called? GIPC and the Pan-African Village. Any investment opportunities would be important to our listeners and viewers because we all want to find opportunities outside of the United States as it's becoming, you know, more and more aggressive to live here as people of color. You know, we are looking for those, but we were in Ghana and no one talked to us at all about the opportunity to buy a plot of land for free in an area that was existing, that was, you know, sort of multifaceted with commercial, retail, you know, other things. So how did we miss that? You know, how did we miss that when we were there? Which means other folks traveling are not hearing this info.
I blame Ray for that one.
I heard you say you blame Ray.
I blame you. We're gonna get Ray on this show as well. Talk to you about so many different aspects as a, you know, a former United States citizen, you know, then moving there. And then sort of details about citizenship, you know, sort of understanding realistically whether or not someone like myself, born of enslaved Africans, can be an actual citizen of Ghana, or what we could possibly do and what are the nuances to owning. Ray can help us with that too. But, you know, again, these investment opportunities are I believe, so critical for all of us to understand. But I'll transition just a little bit. You are a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity incorporated. And that's kind of a surprise for some of us as well, that there would be sort of active Greek letter organizations. I think in my imagination, I'm thinking, you know, maybe there's some people who pledge, but, you know, I don't know if they really understand, you know, sort of what goes on here, the history, the legacy, that kind of thing. But talk to us about your decision to pledge Q and what is going on there in Ghana. We went to a wonderful party at your place. Thanks for inviting us. That was the bomb. And it was definitely a surprise. Talk to us about that decision and sort of what's going on there.
And so before you started, Kwab, because I want to hear all of this, that party that Lauren's talking about was nothing less than, and the bros were out. So just to make it absolutely clear, it was not just a good time, but it was a fabulous time. So I'll let you go ahead, Kwab.
Well, I mean, you know, we try to aspire to bring the greatest things from, you know, the U.S. here, right? And, you know, the D9 community is a very powerful, educated, successful community. And I always say that no matter how you chop up African Americans, whether it's tall, skinny, you know, light skin, dark skin, long hair, whatever chop you want to have, you will find that the most successful, most educated in the community are going to be the D9 fellows. So, you know, it's an honor for us to be able to bring the fraternity here. You know, we were the first chapter here in Ghana. And because of that, we now have chapters from the Deltas, the Sigmas, the Zetas, Sigma Gamma Rhos. As a matter of fact, right now there's 350 Sigma Gamma Rhos on their way here to Ghana. They'll be here next week.
Oh, wow, 350?
350, birthright journey.
Shut up.
Yeah, so, you know, the D9 is making a great presence. And of course, we're about community service. So what's happening is the Ghana community is starting to hear more about it. They're starting to see the type of services that we're doing. And we went from being a cult to basically being, top of the notch, So it's an honor. It's just a great pleasure to be part of it and to be able to bring you here to the motherland.
I'll let you go.
I was marveling at the 350, first of all, and then
That is
think
crazy.
about the amazing time. Kwab, I want you to also tell us about, and Lauren and I had an opportunity to experience this, but one of the things that I found particularly unifying about the time that we spent at this, it seems like not proper to call it a party, because it was more like a gathering and a fellowship and a convening in some ways, because some people were talking about business, other people were just kind of getting reacquainted. You had some young folks from college that were doing internships and some seasoned soarers like myself. And, it was really something that I thought if we had tried to pull something together like that across generations and across the D9 organizations, would we have been so successful? How did you guys start having that kind of gathering, if you will, that seemed really laid back, really relaxed, but yet people were getting stuff done, making connections? How long have you been hosting those gatherings, and how often do you have them? And just in case our listeners
we the brothers are always trying to, be get out and enjoy themselves. Ever since I became a member, 2013, these things have been happening ever since.
10 years, good for you.
We've been trying. Thank you very much. We've been trying to be a community, to be able to show our Ghanaian brothers and sisters, the type of community that we have in the U.S. within the D9. So the ability for us to have those type of gatherings, and we don't just invite our D9 members. We want to invite, other diasporans. We want to invite Ghanaians. This is an engagement of communities, and it's an exchange of cultures. So it's very important for us. And those type of gatherings, we try to have them as frequently as possible. Sometimes we have them when people come to town so that we can introduce them to the community. Sometimes we have them when we have specific, occasions. But ultimately, Africans as a community, we're very, we like to, gatherings are a big part of our community. People do business face to face by interacting with each other here. So, we engage in that. You won't find too much virtual activities here,
That's so encouraging, because right now, matter of fact, we're on a virtual platform talking to you, but we don't want to lose sight of the fact that what keeps us so wonderfully connected is our ability to touch and see and be face to face to each other, with one another. So on our list, we have chapters in Liberia, Nigeria, and also in South Africa for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. But now that you've alerted me to the fact that we may not have a chapter in Ghana, we got to work on that.
We got to do something about that.
Here.
Yeah, we got to work on that. So to our international director, if you're listening. So one of the things that we hear a lot about in the United States is Afrochella. Tell us about Afrochella. And in addition to Afrochella, what other big conferences and events have we been missing out on that we need to make sure that we get there for?
Well, first, Afrochella is now Afrofuture. There was a change in the name, because there was a trademark issue with Coachella. So it is officially Afrofuture, but it's the same thing, same place, same time, which is a big concert. Probably one of as the biggest musical festival now in the country. Last year they had about 30,000 people. We're expecting the same amount this year. Plus, it's a great 2-day musical festival. For us, we participate as vendors, so it's very fantastic because we set up the Greek lounge with all of our Greek designs and Greek Melia and all those type things, and we try to cater to the HBCU and Greek communities that are coming. So they can pass through our section. At midnight, we have a Greek roundup, to try to do a big picture, a big video of all the Greeks so that they can interact with whoever's on the ground. But Afrochella is just a microcosm of what is now known as December in GH, which has become a big event, and now it's even extended into November, really. But basically starting I would say from Thanksgiving going to the New Year, it is travel heavy. People are coming. People are having a great time. There's music festivals. There's parties. There's just so much that goes on that is a full calendar. You can't attend all. It's impossible. You know, you better come ready with a lot of energy, a lot of Red Bull, 5 hour energy.
A lot of 5 hour energy bottles.
Yeah, you're going to need it, you know, because the parties only end when the sun comes up, right? And it's literally, oh, the sun is up. Okay, now let me go for breakfast.
I love it. I love it.
Right?
It's somewhere in the afternoon.
You know, it
You gotta
doesn't
have
matter
some
what
stamina
day
for
it
that
is.
though, guys.
Every day there's a major party, there's a major event designed to, you know, keep you entertained and festive. So just, you know, December and January, they even have a whole website for it now. If you go Instagram, you know, anyway, just put in December and GH. It's a calendar that they will even give you of all the events.
Well, we will add that to our list of
massive.
resources because I don't think I knew that there were activities preceding December.
Right.
Oftentimes December can get kind of tricky. People's kids come home from college and, you know, you've got parents that want to see you. So unless you can take everybody with you, which I strongly encourage, but it's good to know that there are some other events that are happening leading up to. Now that's kind of on the entertainment and fun side. Are there any professional conferences or events for our entrepreneurs, our professionals who might want to check out some events that maybe they don't know about and that they want to put on their calendars?
Well, you know, one of the things is Ghana has gone out and changed, you know, tremendously. This isn't the days of where just December and GH throughout the whole year. Now, you know, 6, 7 years ago, if you were coming to Ghana and you said, I'm coming with a group, and we said, oh, how many people are coming with me? And you said 20, it was impressive. You got praise, you got recognition, 20 people, fantastic. Now we have events throughout the year where you got 350, 200, 150 coming. We have education conferences. We have HBCU Homecoming Summit, which is in the summer, where we have a recruiting fair of the HBCUs to try to get more Africans here in a community into schools there. You've got education seminars, you got health seminars. I mean, you got business executive forum seminars, TED Talks. So Ghana every month has got things going on. It is a very active tourism industry and sector. So you can't really go wrong. If you're African American, every African American holiday or celebration is being recognized here. You've got the African American Association of Ghana. So you know, with Kwanzaa is being recognized.
Nice.
You have Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend. All those type of events, you can come. Juneteenth is a big time to come. Easter is massive. You know, Easter is even bigger than Christmas, right?
Wow.
You know, so you know, you can't really go wrong to pick a time or a month to come to Ghana now. It's packed every month.
That is so amazing. Yeah, I think we should think about, you know, sort of more different, you know, times to come and just really being creative, just bringing the family along. And, you know, I think we went to some of the greatest spots in Accra. We went to Sky Bar, we went to Sandbox, and then inside of Sandbox was a Makosa. All these fantastic restaurants that people think, you know, like, oh man, these were top of the line, very westernized, 5-star sort of places to check out. So, you know, folks can come through and know that they're going to be taken care of. And you know, you're going to get some traditional foods and traditional experiences, but you can also, if you want to be westernized, you can do it there too. Before we roll, tell us a little bit more about Custom Looks. How can people find you and what do you specialize in?
Well, Custom Looks, like the name is, it's custom. That's our number one goal. It's custom designs. You know, our website is www.customlooksgh.com, and you spell custom with a K. And I tell most people, if you just go to Google and put Custom Looks with a K, you'll get everything from Facebook, Instagram, website, and all. You'll see videos of our shows. You'll see pictures, collections, everything. We've been in the business, 18 years? You know, 11 years in Ghana, you know, starting in 2005 in the US. You know, you see our clothes in America, you see our clothes here in Ghana, you know, but right now our specialty is, you know, sportswear, activewear is where we are specializing in, and we currently make the tracksuits and the jerseys for the Ghana sports federations. So if you see a Ghana athlete on an international competition, the tracksuit that they are wearing is made by us. And sometimes, depending on the discipline, the jersey may be made by us also. So these are some of the things we're releasing. And of course, we also are known for our D9 designs, our D9 dashikis, tracksuits, dresses. If you go on our website, you'll be able to get a chance to see all the different types of cultural D9 infused items that we have available to the community. But
is it easy to ship to the US?
Oh, absolutely. We ship every week, with DHL Express. So shipping is very affordable, less than $30, just basically what you're paying in the US, to receive shipments. So, that's available here. We take advantage of that. You can go on our website, complete the form, submit the information, and we can even determine your size and assessment for you, and then know exactly what to make.
Nice. Tanya, Kwab, we gotta allow Kwab to go on with the rest of his evening. It is evening there. What time is it? 9:17 there. So we know it's getting late.
He's on his way to a party somewhere.
I know he's out here partying. Well, he's gonna be making some clothes.
Right now, every day. Every day.
I love it. Well, I'll be sure to get on the website and start picking out my gear so I can be ready. And I might have to start sending you a retainer so I just can keep some things in the queue.
We love it. Go to send us that black card. Don't worry, we got you.
I got you. All right, Kwab. Lauren, it was great spending this great time. You stay tuned out there for our new episodes of So You Want to Go to Africa, brought to you by PG Excursions, where we talk about all of the things related to traveling to Africa from anywhere in the diaspora, what you wanted to know, what you were afraid to ask, and what you didn't know that you didn't know.
Thanks again, Kwab. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Check us out all the time. pgexcursions.com, pgexcursions.us, and on IG, Facebook. Check us out everywhere, guys. Thanks for listening to the PG Excursions podcast. Please remember, subscribe at pgexcursions.net. Check us out also at pgexcursions.us.